Players still seem to be of the opinion that you're allowed to have one strike and then only pick up a card. I have not seen that being the recipe used at this tournament. So no free tackle before the yellow card is issued. Now the two centre-backs at the back, and that's a bit of a wild and woolly pass. Well done by Mukuru, dealing with a ball back from Kuyate. Iban Salvador. That decision against him. Well, he plays with real passion. They've had a great adventure, Equatorial Guinea, but they wanted to continue. They'll be fated as heroes when they get back to their country, that's for sure, after that victory against Algeria, and then still beating Sierra Leone on top of that. Our fans increasing the volume a little bit, sensing the tempo's just picked up somewhat. Surely he hasn't been going like that since we last saw him. Out wide from Machine. Have it back to Equatorial Guinea. Good work from Traore to block that. And again, yeah, the skipper has possession with Amadou Haidara. Forward goes Traore. Taken away by Salvador. Ref says play on. Picoro switching, looking for something on the right. Pass is too long for Machine. The player of real quality is Jose Machine, and we've perhaps not seen enough of that at this particular tournament. No, 2 minutes of stoppage time still to be added. No goals here. The possibility of extra time and penalties still very much alive. Maybe Mali gets something here with Bissouma, the Brighton and Hove Albion player. Traore into the middle. Big clearance from Salvador, read that well. Little pull there from Miranda. He is flirting with danger. Nice first touch from Mohamed Kamara, and then there's the challenge and there's the pull. He must know that with a caution already issued, he's skating on thin ice. So still time to get this corner in, and a chance for Mali on the stroke of half-time. Is there an opportunity here for a goal and a lead at the break? Lots of players forward. Moussa Doumbia will take it. Curled away. Easy collection for Owono. That should be it for the first 45 minutes of this encounter, plus the stoppage time that Mr. Gassama has added on. So we've had that disputed penalty call. Now we're going to have a look at this in the penalty area. Oh, Miranda again. Does he know he's playing football? Well, the referee says half-time. So no decision there in favour of Mali. Here, no goals either in Limbe. Mali and Equatorial Guinea in the last of 16 round matches. Yet to score, but with plenty of time still ahead. Mali 0, Equatorial Guinea 0. says an hour. Scoreline says nothing between these two teams. 7 teams have booked their place in the quarters. 2 still alive here in Limbe. There is a double change, a positive one as well from Juan Micha with Yannick Uyala and with Emilio Insuel. Decision goes against Sako for the challenge on Hansa. The 20-year-old is probably one of the 2 who will be coming off. Changes to be made first before we get the free kick underway. There is confirmation that Hansa is going off and Emilio Insuel is coming on. Played for Middlesbrough and Emilio Insuel, former Spanish junior international, and the first really of these Spanish-born players with a parent from Equatorial Guinea to throw their lot in with the national team and to help build the side with a lot of the players from the migrant community. And Miranda will go off as well. He's been flirting with a possible second card, and so the coach quite wisely takes him off. Yannick Bulya comes on in his place.
Out, Jesse, number 18, Dorian Junior
Garnett.
In, Jesse, number 10, Emilio Suel Lopez. Substitution team, Equatorial Guinea. Out, Jesse, number 17, Jose Antonio Miranda Bauchu.
Kamara forward.
Jesse, number 14, Janik Bula Sam.
Mali yet to make changes, but looking for some progress down the flank here. Salvador on Bissouma, who gets past him. Looking to set something up is Bissouma. He's becoming more and more key to the attacks from the Malians. Still, though, it remains goalless. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Equatorial Guinea. Coro. Their fans are also beginning to believe a little bit now. Sueo gets his first touch. And Salvador might drop back a little bit. Salvador now, the provider. Mali with a chance on the counter. Quicker this Mali side. Doumbia forward. Corner. Back in again looking for Doumbia, asking far too much. And he's explaining what he tried to do. A little bit of a curl on the outside of the foot, but that certainly was not the end result of the pass. Just over 25 minutes remain. Almost stealing it away there. Look at the possession statistics, very much in favor of Mali. Just over 60%. And far the better of the chances too, although it must be said chances limited for both sides. Play on here. Yannick plays it out wide. This is Salvador. Still Salvador. Down he goes. Shot blocked on the edge of the area. Good power on that from Bikoro. I think Kuyate felt the full force of that. Now eventually on Mohamed Kamara, chance for Mali to get the ball forward. Dumbia. Mali ball. Akapo a lot less adventurous on the right-hand side in the second half in comparison to the first. There's a good rhythm going there in the crowd. Dumbia high towards the back post, missed by everybody, including Sako, the centre-back, who'd come forward. Shakes his head, not pleased with himself. 26-year-old. Majority of the players on the field today for Mali have had some previous Cup of Nations experience. Only Salvador Sweo, who's just come on, and Pablo Ganet played for Equatorial Guinea back in 2015 when they were emergency hosts. Only side not to qualify and then to qualify, if you know what I mean. Obiang. So Mali are looking to make some changes now, get some energy in there. Try and see if they can settle this game inside the 90 minutes. Good challenge. Ref says play on. Yannick wide to Salvador, still running for all he's worth. Puts in a really strong shift, gets the free kick there. And challenged by Musa Kamara. Salvador with Fuenlabrada in the Spanish second division. He, of course, would be totally anonymous on the world stage were it not for the fact he has Equatorial Guinea blood and gets this opportunity to play at international level in a small country who are doing exceedingly well at this particular tournament. Still hanging in here, maybe looking for a chance. A rare chance now. They've got numbers forward. Towards the back post. Goes all the way through. Esteban Obiang had come forward for that. Remember, he scored from a corner against Algeria. The winner in that sensational upset win a week ago or so now. So, Musa Djenepo from Southampton in the Premier League and Adama Nos Traore to come on. Going off is the other Adama Traore, otherwise known as Malouda. Djenepo with 2 yellows in the first round and a suspension in the last game. This man is also lively. Is Malouda and Nos nicknames to distinguish between the two Adama Traores. The man has just come on, plays in Turkey, was on the books at Monaco. Of course, Djenepo from Southampton, and they're looking for a handball here. Well, he was at Stade Liège in Belgium before moving to the Premier League. Comes from Bamako. Traore out wide. Now, the first contribution from Djenepo. He's looking to shoot. He has his shot, gets a bit of a deflection. Well, that's the contribution they're looking for from him. Ref says go away, no discussion. The corner off Koko. Goalkeeper didn't look to have it covered. There was the appeals for the handball earlier. Kone. Well, hand trailing there, a little away from the body. Tight call, not given. Arama Nostraore with a cross. Dumbia back in again. Koko gets rid of it. Finds Salvador. Looking for Nsweo on the counter-attack. Mali getting themselves back into position now, and that's too long for Bikoro. There'd also be questions about the fitness, for example, of some of the players in the Equatorial Guinea side, just because they compete at less competitive level. But in this tournament, they have shown themselves to be right up there with everyone else in terms of ability, work rates, and certainly given their all to get their side this far in the competition. I think that players from a lower league would struggle, I suppose, after 2 weeks of intense competition. Those match fitness levels are at a real peak for all of these players now. Not much rest either before the weekend. Thursday and Friday and Saturday for whoever wins here today. There was that call against Koko. His heart must have been in his mouth for sure. Decision based on the fact that his hand was not away from the body, and he has a yellow card now. Koro is the fourth player from Guinea-Bissau to go into the book. Ganek, Miranda and Iban Salvador before him. Miranda is off, the other two are still on. Dangerous, those ones. What is Mohamed Magasuba thinking now? I'm sure he does not want this game to go into extra time. Remember, opponent Senegal have got an extra day of rest, the advantage, having played yesterday. They finished the game in 90 minutes as well. Yes, Mr. Gassama, it's his 6th Cup of Nations, by the way. The record for a referee is 8 tournaments held by a Malian, Komlan Koulibaly, who refereed at every tournament from 2002 in his home country to 2015 in Equatorial Guinea. Mr. Gassama, at the age of 43, will not be able to make 8 tournaments. Might sneak in for 7 if they pick him for Ivory Coast in 18 months' time. Been on the FIFA panel for Gambia, one of their representatives, since 2007. I'm sounding like a big fan, I have to admit I am. Dumbia. Throw-in is in Mali's favour. Coach Micha on the edge of his technical area, full of enthusiasm still. They believe, Equatorial Guinea, maybe they can sneak something. Mali have had more chances. Don't take them, you could be in trouble. Now out wide. Clearance away. Up to Nsweo. Foul on Kamare, almost wrestled him to the ground. Mali take it quickly. Shot. It's blocked by Obiang. Little push in the back there. Quickly taken free kick. They start again, Mali. This time on the right with Doumbia. With skipper Traore. Haidara. Past one. Haidara looking for Kone. Didn't find him. Sako clears up at the back. Skipper Traore. His 11th successive match for Mali. Ever present in this tournament and ever present in the World Cup qualifiers as well, between September and November. Doumbia. That's unnecessary from Doumbia. He could get himself into trouble here. Yannick is the player that he manhandled to the ground, and his own teammates saying to him, really necessary card. The right attack too. Now that is really silly from Doumbia. And then the irony of telling Yannick to calm down when his reaction is anything but. 12 minutes. Extra time looms here in Limbe. Mali with Ginepro. Goal kick. Well, I wonder if Equatorial Guinea's plan is try and hold out and go to penalties, or I presume the first on their agenda is opportunity on the counter-attack, holding Mali at bay and then catching them. So they'll be the happier looking at the clock. Sweo got the touch with the head out wide. He wants the return ball back into the middle. He's going to only land up Mali possession. Up to Kone. Kone down, Kone free kick. The build-up starts from deep in their own half for Mali. Want this to end up in the back of the Equatorial Guinea net. Doumbia out wide. Good running down the flank now. Haidara has a look up. It's missed by Owono. It's still alive. This is Traore. Shot is over the top. That's disappointing again. Koko, the player, down, and Owono belatedly too. Well, Owono colliding with his own centre-back. He got up, Koko stayed down. Certainly got a full elbow in the face, did the centre-back. Another good chance here for Mali, and another skyscraper of a shot. Now Ruben Belima, who played at the last Cup of Nations that Equatorial Guinea were at in 2015, will come on. And the young Eneme, who is a striker. So another bold little move here. Machine will go off. Belima will come on in his place. And the other change, put Eneme on. Let's just check who he will be replacing. Bikoro.
Equatorial Guinea. Out, Jesse, number 8, Jose Machine.
Ruben Belima, now 29. He plays for Heracles. They're in the 3rd division of Spanish football. And young Santiago Eneme, who comes from Malabo originally, is in the academy at Nantes in France. He's only 21 years old. Coco still a little bit groggy after that knock with his goalkeeper.
Santiago Bukari Eneme.
8 minutes remain. There have been 4 changes made now by Equatorial Guinea, and just the 2 so far from Mali, with Nostraore and Janepo coming on. Areas. Well, we've seen quite a bit of drama in the closing stages of previous matches, in the group phase mainly in this competition. Does that mean potentially there is something on here in these closing stages? Kuyate forward, down the line, and settle for the throw-in. Side Aigara. Now El Bilal Toure, who was suspended after a red card in the opening game. He's on for Ibrahim Akone. Another player of great talent and ability, plays in the French First Division with Rennes, the same club as his compatriot Doumbia. Did that take a deflection? No, it's gone straight, high and handsome. Janepo with a disappointing touch there. Bilal Toure's red card against Tunisia was appealed by Mali, but unsuccessfully so. He was sent off just 6 minutes after coming on as a substitute in the first game in the group stage for Mali. Now, what's going to happen here? Is Eneme in some trouble? Sacco, who's down. How much contact was there really here? And I suppose when you're kicking out with that speed and velocity, that's somewhat painful. Officially now, 5 minutes plus stoppage time remain here in the last of the knockout round, second round matches before we get to the quarterfinals. Still, this one far from decided. One goal will be enough, you fancy. Who's going to find it? No progress for Mali, but a foul committed by Eneme. Referee says, one there, no more. Probably going back to the warning system, it would seem. As many numbers pushed forward as previously on some of the set pieces. Nostraore to take it. floater, which is dealt with by Coco, Salvador, and then away by Obiang. Equatorial Guinea have possession. Well, they really are making life difficult for themselves, Mali. Match where they were certainly overwhelming favourites. And Yannick is there as well in Neme. All the changes, strikers or attacking midfielders, so not scared as the coach of Equatorial Guinea. They're not setting out their stall here to defend and see what they can snatch in the penalty shootout. Ginepo still chasing it. The ball is alive. On the edge of the area, Haidara into the middle. That's good work. Salvador, his work rate is phenomenal. Now Eneme, the youngster. And Sueo. He's been heavily criticised back in Equatorial Guinea for all of the chances he had in the first game that they played in the group phase. When they really had, against the Ivory Coast, a chance to actually win the game. Ended up losing by a goal. He was dropped then for Algeria and Sierra Leone the next two games, although did appear against Sierra Leone as a substitute. This is the big fest though against Algeria, but I think a little devoid of confidence, Emilio Nsueo, in the finishing department. Nice touch. Here come Mali. 2 minutes to go. Can they break the deadlock? This is positive. Corner it will be. With the well get the goal that settles it between these two sides. The decision was an offside one against the Southampton man. So further relief for Equatorial Guinea. From Belima. Well, the party continues in the stands. A little bit of work now for goalkeeper Munkoro. Mali have turned possession over. Less than 30 seconds before we go into stoppage time. And now extra time looks a very real possibility. Really not sharp on the attack tonight, Mali, despite all the big name players. Two from the Premier League in England and a whole pile from Ligue 1 in France. Just not delivering. Could it yet be Equatorial Guinea's night again? Another giant killing act in Limbe. 5 minutes should be added on. Kuyate will get the free kick. Oh, do they intend to finish it off now? Owono, he needs a big clearance, get back to goal. Kuyate into touch. Well, to be fair, it's been a little bit disappointing from Mali in terms of the way they've played this game. The flow and structure has been disjointed. After 3 successive matches here in Limbe, you think they'd be a well-settled, a rather slick, well-oiled machine. Here's Belima trying to pull it back for Equatorial Guinea. They believe. Little slip there. Ineme takes a deflection. It goes over. It'll be a corner. Suddenly, Equatorial Guinea are threatening again. And perhaps a little upset awaits us. Off Sako, away for the corner. Wouldn't that be a turn-up for the books? Not sure they've had an effort on target in this game. Done it once more, the set-piece taker. Still 3 minutes to go. Drives it. Missed by Belima. There might be a chance here. Back in from Ndong. Cleared away. They've got a lot of numbers forward, Equatorial Guinea. And they've got another opportunity if Garnett can get this back in again. On the right foot, decides not. Salvador drives it, and it's too long. Just a little too high. Well, that was a promising passage of play for Equatorial Guinea. Well, Mali fans, I don't think will be particularly impressed with the way they played. There'll be another 30 minutes surely now, just 2 left, and little flick on touch. Garnett clears. That's a foul in favour of Mali for Sako, so this is still an opportunity with around a minute and a half left, 90 seconds or so, to get this forward, to get players forward as well, and to finish this inside the 90 minutes. Or the 95 minutes to be exact. There's a minute left. Floated to the edge of the area. Numbers back for Equatorial Guinea. Belima clears the header. This is now with Haidara. Has not put his foot on the ball in this match in dictated terms like we know he can, but here he goes. No way through. Suddenly, the counter-attack is on for Equatorial Guinea. Oh, this might fall. And Swayo waits in the middle. Dong goes around, overlap, and it needed some from Equatorial Guinea. Amazing how they believe they can win this game. All the odds stacked against them. And they look extra time. Mr. Gassama now just a couple of seconds. That's it, right on cue. So 90 minutes, no goals, and this tie far from settled. 30 more minutes to be played, and then the possibility of penalties if we still do not have a winner. At stake, a place against Senegal in Sunday's quarterfinal in Yaoundé. Goalless, Mali and Equatorial Guinea. Extra time is ahead of us.
5 minutes.
So there'll be a brief rest period now for the two teams and some final instructions, and then we can get the extra time period underway. Welcome back to Limbe and the resumption of this game. The last 16, Equatorial Guinea and Mali. We are about to head to extra time. The referee summoning the two captains. We will have a coin toss to decide the kickoff and who plays where in the first 15 minutes of extra time, and then a brief pause, as it is the case these days. In the half-time break, it used to be a straight switch over. They seem to be a little lax on that, allowing some instructions and some respite. And then we're into the final quarter hour of this encounter. And if needs be, penalties still ahead of us. And Mali with a few more changes at their disposal. 3 made in this game so far. And the instructions there for Nswayo, who's taken over the captain's armband from Akapo, and for, of course, Hamari Traore, playing in his 3rd Africa Cup of Nations finals. I wonder if he might turn it around. Musa Dinepo had potentially a disappointing first round in yellow cards in the game against Tunisia and Gambia, the first 2, so he missed out on the 2-0 win against Mauritania, back from suspension for today's encounter, as is El Bilal Toure, both coming on off the bench to strengthen the side. So, who is going to go to the quarterfinals of the Cup of Nations, Mali or Equatorial Guinea? Who will Senegal be playing in Yaoundé on Sunday? We should know in a half an hour's time. Mali, get us underway. There have been no changes, by the way, at the beginning of extra time. Mohamed Magasuba keeping his powder dry for the extra time period. Here they come now. Here's Doumbia with a cross into the middle. Good defensive work from Esteban Obayang, and the offside flag up again. Goal hero was Obayang in the match against Algeria. You can see just offside there, Doumbia. Pretty tight, but offside nevertheless. Getting a little feisty, which is perhaps not a bad thing. We want a bit of energy and aggression now in the 30 minutes that remain. Haidara, the 2 of them, Masaido and Amadou. No relation. Mali hosted this tournament like Equatorial Guinea. They got to the semis. They were hosts in 2002, Mali, and Equatorial Guinea in 2015. Before that, co-hosts with Gabon in 2012. That was the tournament that Zambia won in the final in Libreville, although they spent most of their time in Bata in Equatorial Guinea. Good running on the overlap. Now he has the cross in, and no one there to finish it off for Mali. They have it back though. He's a great player, this Haidara. Left back French under-21 international who changed his nationality to Mali 3 years ago, just in time for the last Cup of Nations in Egypt. Played one of the qualifiers and then got to the finals. You might remember him, those who follow English football. He was at Newcastle United for a while. This is the other Haidara now who's come to take the free kick, Amadou from Leipzig. A few months ago he was playing against the likes of Manchester City and Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League. That's what happens when you hype him up. Only 23 years old, name to keep in mind as a future star of the African scene, despite that last touch. Last Cup of Nations, Mali in a similar situation. They actually shared the same group with Tunisia and with Mauritania then in Egypt, and they were with those two teams again this time round. Mali finishing top of the group on both occasions, and went into the knockout stage against the Ivory Coast. Much tougher assignment than today. Lost that by a single goal. Shot now. Oh! And not the best of the goalkeeping there from Munkuru. He's not had much to do in this game, but tested by Basile Ndong. Long-range effort on target with a difficult bounce. That is not from the textbook. Effective nevertheless, we should add. Wilfred Zaha scored the goal for the Ivory Coast when they beat Mali at this stage of the last finals in Egypt. Still in play. Doesn't find Salvador, needs the goalkeeper to come out and collect, and still sounds from referee Gassama, so we will have a throw-in. Change of mind there, the ball did go out of play. Ball forward to Ginepo. Already 5 minutes gone here in the extra time period, first half thereof. Another 10 to the break. Equatorial Guinea with the only real effort so far in extra time, looking nice and lively. This is Nsweo. Recovers, continues, looks for the return, goes down in the penalty area. Referee Gassama is not interested. He's not going to be conned into that one. We'll be checking on VAR that the official today is Mr. Adil Zurak from Algeria. The referee very close to the action there. Yeah, he needed a swimming pool, and it would have been of Olympic quality. Emilio and Sue. Still waiting to hear. Well, the right decision's made. We can continue with the football. Here's Doumbia for Mali. Back again. Loses out. This is Belima. The chase with Traore. Doumbia. Turnover for Equatorial Guinea. They're finding the end from somewhere. Now the long-range effort. Good block. Well, Gannett wants to get the card going. He struck an excellent effort from long range against Sierra Leone in the previous match to win the game and make sure Equatorial Guinea finished in the top 2 in the group. Now the team that finished above them, Ivory Coast, already eliminated. They'll be heading home tomorrow. One of these two will be joining them. The other will be staying, moving on to Yaoundé for Sunday's quarter-final. Last 8 action starts on Saturday with Cameroon against Gambia in Douala, and then Burkina Faso against Tunisia in Yaoundé, and a double-header in Garoua, rather, and then a double-header in Yaoundé on the Sunday. Egypt, Morocco, the winner of this against Senegal. Morocco will be the first of the 2 games. Long-range shot from Haidara, wide of goal. Not himself today. Must be getting a little worried now, Mohamed Magasuba, that this tie is going to be settled on post-match penalties, as was the one earlier today in Douala when Egypt edged out the Ivory Coast. We were hoping for Super Goal Wednesday. We are ending, it would seem, with Drought Wednesday instead. There's Doumbia. Little pull back there from Afcon. Now Doumbia, bit of space. Chance to push forward again. Strong defense. And a free kick in favor of Belima. Now moving closer to the end of the first half of extra time. Kamara didn't seem to make any contact. Dumbia's been full of running down this left-hand side. He really does look to be tiring now. Let's see what Salvador's got left in the tank. Has a look up for Emilio Nsueo. Support from Belima. Can the two of them conjure something up? Belima taking too much time, almost dispossessed. Gannett. It's going to be slower now because the players are really fatigued. Remember, this is game number 4 in what's been a really busy opening fortnight of this competition. And we're in extra time. For the winner tomorrow, presumably just a little bit of recuperation. Rest will be the instruction from the coach. Another day on Friday and maybe a little bit of training on Saturday, but no need to go out and do too much work now at this stage of the tournament. Well, credit to those guys in the stands. More than 90 minutes now, close on 100, just over 100. And they'll be going, one would expect, right to the end. 2 full hours of dancing. Add in half-time as well. They've been an extra 50 minutes. They've done more than the footballers. Looking for Nsweo. Nsweo again is the intended target. There's a little bit of a mix-up here. Mali eventually with... coming from Salvador, the miscue from Ginepro. And quickly the one positive in that whole move for Mali. Surely no time to be added on at the end of the 15 minutes here by referee Gassama. Haidara taken away by Salvador, wanting to do too much. Kuyate with a cover defense. Nothing going for poor old Emilio Nsweo. His tournament has been one littered with missed chances and balls that get away from him in the dangerous zone. So, first 15, we should turn over immediately and get on with the second. There will be some sustenance offered to the players. So Hamadi Traore in his third Nations Cup, can he take his team into the quarterfinals? Of course, went out at this stage in the last competition back in 2017. Well, Mali were looking pretty strong too, and then a group phase elimination. They eventually ended 12th in the tournament in Gabon. Chance for some final instructions. Mohamed Magasuba is out there. Bikoro has already gone off. Referee Gassama wants to get matters underway again. There's quite a lot of English being spoken for a nation, one nation who's French speaking, of course, and the other Spanish. So will these supporters get to see a goal, I wonder, in the final 15 minutes? Instructions from Emilio Nsweo. One of his international career might come to an end once Equatorial Guinea departs from this tournament. They paid him a lot of money, Equatorial Guinea, in the beginning to get him to change from Spain. a bit of a financial inducement to make the conversion. Not sure there's been a return on investment, but what it has done is persuaded a lot of other players based in Spain, but having some Equatorial Guinea heritage to join the team. Now, and Suayo again. Hasn't got a club, by the way. Was last playing in Cyprus. Mali with some running down that left-hand side. This might be promising. Good stretch in there from Obiang. He's got a bit of cramp as well as the young Al-Bilal Toure put a bit of pressure on. Fatigue is really setting in now. That'll be a throw-in. Mali to make another change now as we head into the depths of the final stages of this game, with Aliou Dieng plays for Al Ahly, of course, the very strong midfielder looking to go to the Club World Cup. There's quite a bit of talk about a transfer to Europe for him as well. Koko to clear at the back. That's Mali ball, cleverly played onto his shins. Now Dieng will come on. 24-year-olds. He was playing in Algeria before he went to Al Ahly in 2019. He's been involved in their last two Champions League successes. He comes on for the big star man, Amadou Haidara. Bit of a powerhouse, perhaps not as skillful as Haidara, but can drive the team forward. And he'll have round about 13 minutes to do so. Traore with a throw in, and now Doumbia looking to cut inside. Doumbia with a left-footed shot, which is again way off target, and he too a picture of fatigue out on that field.
Amadou Haidara out, number 23.
Husseini Diawara is the assistant coach there, played for Mali at the Africa Cup of Nations himself. Sometimes as a pundit on television in France. Dieng would have watched earlier today as many of his Al Ahly teammates. There's 6 of them in the Egyptian squad. One in progress to the quarterfinals. It does have a bit of an impact on the Club World Cup, where they'll be heading next week. It's increasingly as if Al Ahly might have to go with a weakened squad. If Mali progress, if Egypt progress, that's not good news for Al Ahly's ambitions. They're up against Mexican opposition in their first game at the Club World Cup, and then if they win that, Palmeiras of Brazil in the semi-final, the team that they beat in the third-place playoff at the last competition in Qatar when they got the bronze medal. Today's referee, by the way, handled 4 Champions League finals in his time, including Al Ahly's success over Orlando Pirates back in 2013 and the big clash between Zamalek and Mamelodi Sundowns in 2016. Equatorial Guinea have got players forward, drive it in, up in the air from Kouyaté. Certainly does not look as if any side is going to grab this game by the scruff of the neck with some 10 minutes left. and penalties will decide it. Mali will see it as a huge opportunity missed if they are knocked out at this stage of the tournament. It'd be a big blow to confidence too, with that World Cup playoff coming up against Tunisia in March. But there is still time for a goal. Ginepro waiting for the return ball. What's the referee say? Equatorial Guinea again. There's nothing going really for Mali. Fitness of the referee also under scrutiny now in extra time. As Basile Ndong all the way up from fullback. Eneme on the edge of the area. Salvador, wouldn't it be fitting if he banged it in the back of the net? What a tournament he's had for the men in red. They are tired now. The vast majority of the players out on the park. This is Kamara being held back by Eneme. He's already been warned once by the ref. Might have got away with that. Four changes made by both sides now. Dieng coming on. Mali looking to make what would be their final switch. Equatorial Guinea have been discussing it as well, the coach and his assistants. And 111 minutes of football played now at Limbe. It'll be goodbye to this venue after today's match. Fair amount of drama here. We've seen a number of red cards and of course a few missed penalties as well, notably the Tunisians. Still 7.5 minutes remain. Touch inside from Ndong, gets away from Belima. Here's the cross, looking for Eneme and for Nsweu. Throw in will go Mali's way. Coach Micha was in charge of Equatorial Guinea's women's side before transferring over to the men. He was assistant for a little while and then caretaker coach. Proved so popular with the players, they asked the federation, don't bring us another foreigner. Put him in charge, and his appointment worked out well. He qualified the country for this tournament. Coach before him was an Argentine, Esteban Becker. Nostraone with the ball. Nice little turn from Toure. Outstretched foot from Ewono. Toure looking to get the ball back, but that's a foul. Dieng showing some energy. Pablo Garnett will get up and continue. Well, he was brought on to just put a little more oomph into this Mali side. That was the initial effort from Dieng. A real pocket battleship, strong upper body strength. Will Ali be able to hold on to him? Or is he heading to Europe maybe at the end of the season? Ali will certainly be looking for his contribution in the Champions League campaign. Mamelodi Sundowns, Al Hilal and Al Merrikh in their group, which starts next month. Ginepro now running at the defence. Fairly fresh compared to some of the others on the field. Mali pushing it around, not much progress. Here is Traore. Sako. Surely they're not playing for penalties. Maybe a little burst of acceleration is upon us. 5 minutes. Let's see if they can get it forward here, Mali. What are their intentions? This is all a little pedestrian from a team that has the ability to still to win it. Doumbia. Here they come. Kamara. Asking far too much of Djenepo. Just look to make it a little bit difficult for themselves tonight. So Equatorial Guinea will have to throw in. We've got 4 minutes before we head to the penalty shootout to decide the outcome of this encounter. It's been a long day at the Cup of Nations with 2 matches going the full 2 hours. Egypt and the Ivory Coast settling their encounter on penalties. And we are 3.5 minutes away from the same scenario here in Limbe. Traore. Haidara. Traore, sorry, the captain, Mari Traore. Now out wide. Djenepo, a little strong perhaps. Goal kick, yes. Under 3 remain. Not much need for time added on either on the part of the referee from Gambia. Still time though for Mali to finish it. None of the crisp movement we saw in the last game against Mauritania on display here. So, what about Equatorial Guinea? 2 minutes to go. Could they continue their giant killing run in the competition? Stolen away. Left behind. Taken away by Ineme. Hasn't done badly, the 20-year-old from Nantes in France, the academy player. No senior football to his name yet at club level, yet a full international. Played in by Belima. It's taken away. We're in the final minutes. And maybe Mali will spare us the agony of the shootout. Down goes Djenepo. Referee's right there up with play. He says play on. Nothing warranted in terms of sanction. On we go with the game. Time running out in the closing stages. Nice work now. That ball is across and into the arms of Owono, because it was looking, Genepo, for Toure, but far too close to the goalkeeper. Toure had actually peeled away, looking for more of a cutback from his teammate. Well, that's it. 2 hours of football in Limbe, no goals, and we will go to the penalty shootout to decide who progresses in the Africa Cup of Nations. The 30 minutes did not add much in the way of drama to a tie that has been a little pedestrian at times. And Equatorial Guinea, I think, will be by far the more satisfied with the outcome after 2 hours. There's another clean sheet for them, third in a row at this competition. 0-0 here as we move on to the penalties.
I truly blame people for disappointing you. I blame yourself for trusting them.
To decide progress into the next round. One of these sides to head home after a gallant campaign. There's Equatorial Guinea, quite rightly thanking their fans who've backed them here in Limbe. Neighbouring country, of course, a little bit easier to travel than it is from Mali. Last bit of encouragement in the ranks of the Mali side as well. You feel they should have finished this game. They had a couple of half chances, not enough for a team of their quality in what on paper looked a little bit of a mismatch, but certainly was not the case during the 2 hours we watched. Young 20-year-old Jesus Owono with a massive responsibility for a player of his tender years. Munkuro not that experienced at the age of 31, certainly not at this level of the game, and he too will be feeling the pressure. The fans too, particularly those at home, of course, who watch this and feel the tension, willing their team to advance. It's not that easy. Emilio Nsue, well, he's had a torrid tournament. He comes forward. The Mali fans giving him a bit of the bird at the same time. They'll be aware that it hasn't been a particularly happy game for him, happy tournament for him so far. But he is the skipper. He is leading from the front and taking responsibility for the first kick here. Goalkeepers will get instruction, pretty clear from Papa Gassama. On the line, you stay on the line, do not move off the line until the kick is taken. Though we've yet to see, in the limited shootouts we've had here so far, a retake ordered. There have been some marginal ones along the way. Emilio Nsue. Goalkeeper Munkuru, the man from Equatorial Guinea, misses. Puts it way over the top. Not the way to start. Oh, he's been the subject of a lot of criticism, and his confidence is absolute. Up and over the top. Gives Mali the immediate. Will they take it? Adama Traore, who came on after 70 minutes with the first kick for his country. There's young Kamara. He's probably hoping he doesn't have to take one. At the age of 22, the youngest in the team, the defensive midfielder. He's still in the line. Here is Traore. Left footer, goal. So Mali take the immediate advantage. Can they keep it going that way? Munkuru with a little bit of gamesmanship. Look at Emilio Nsue. He can barely watch now after that miss. This is Ruben Belima with the second kick, another man who came on as a substitute. Third division in Spain. This kind of pressure he will rarely face. Big run up from him into the back of the net. Much better penalty from Equatorial Guinea this time round. 1-1 is the score. Mali with their second kick to come. Belima back to his teammates. Slow in his own world, in his own thoughts and his own demons at the moment. We'll feel particularly sorry for him. There is Sako. Will he be called upon? Gineppo now. Experience of the Premier League, of course, in England. Up against Iwono. Neatly done. Mali keep that advantage going. Fans like it, Gineppo likes it, Mali likes it. They have the lead. Well, the poor old coach Juan Micha barely watch this. It is kick to be taken by Carlos Acapo. And he, with a little panenka through the middle, makes it 2-all. That is audacious. A little shout at goalkeeper Owono as well. Such a gamble, these kind of kicks. When they come off, they look tremendous, but you wonder about the wisdom of trying to take a penalty in that style at this level of competition. 2 out of 3 for Equatorial Guinea, 2 out of 2 for Mali. Their third kick to be taken by Macedo Haidara, the French-born fullback. Second Cup of Nations for him. Left footer as well. Saved by Owono. It's back level. 2 penalties converted apiece. 3 taken by each side. Yannick is the next man. Also on as a substitute in the second half. Plays in the 3rd division in Spain. Here he goes, up against Mukuru. Well, it's successful. It's a little bit of a staggered run-up, but successful nevertheless. And now the advantage with Equatorial Guinea. Captain Hamari Traore with the responsibility of keeping Mali on course with Equatorial Guinea. The last opportunity saved by Haidara. Now Traore. Traore misses! So now the pendulum swings in favour of Equatorial Guinea. Horrible miss from the skipper. The giant killing might well be continuing here in Limbe. They've got rid of Algeria. They've knocked out Sierra Leone. Can they add Mali to the list? Big responsibility now for Pablo Ganet. He takes it. It's saved. Still 3-2 ahead. It'll be the last kick for Mali. They need to score. That would have won it, but it didn't. Well, the pendulum has swung. First Mali had the advantage, then Equatorial Guinea. Mali must put this one in the back of the net, otherwise it's all over. You can see there Equatorial Guinea with 3 out of 5. Mali with 2 out of 4. Their 5th and final kick before we go to sudden death to be taken now. And it must be put away by El Bilal Toure. Big responsibility for the young man, and he delivers. So we go to sudden death. You cannot separate these two sides. It's been a very long night in Limbe, and it's still nowhere near being decided. 5 penalties apiece. 3 converted each. And sudden death, the advantage with Equatorial Guinea because they take first. Koko comes forward. You do not want to be in the shoes of these players now. The Hopes of an entire nation rest on their shoulders. The pressure is immense. Coco looks like he's got a decent run up here. Coco goes and scores. Equatorial Guinea back with the advantage. 4 out of 6. Now Mali must score, otherwise it's over. And it'll be Senegal against Equatorial Guinea in the next round. Who would have thought that? Emilio Nsue, he can't look after making that early miss. His teammates have bailed him out of torment and trouble. Jesus Owono, 20 years old, big responsibility. 22-year-old Musa Kamara, another youngster. Big responsibility for him too. Must score, otherwise Equatorial Guinea win. Kamara, he does so. It's 4-4. Look at the relief. In fact, my apologies, that was Dieng. Dieng from Al Ahly, making it 4 out of 4. No sparing poor old Musa Kamara the responsibility. Also on as a late substitute, Dieng does the job. Now, Salvador, what a hero he has been for Equatorial Guinea in this competition. He can ill afford to miss. Twice a man of the match. The driving force at times for his team. This is the 7th kick for Equatorial Guinea. 4 out of 6. Salvador in the back of the net. 5-4 Equatorial Guinea. They keep the pressure on Mali. Every time Mali step forward now in the sudden death, they need to score to save the situation. Oh, it must be hard for those fans. Now, what's young 20-year-old Jesus Owono going to do? Salvador's done his job. Stepping forward now for Mali is Musa Kamara. A young man with a bright international future. Up against Owono. Musa Kamara, he does it. He does it, he's relieved. No energy to celebrate. He had a wonderful first half, played a little bit in the second, but he's done his job in the shootout. So it's 7 kicks apiece now, 5 each converted. Parity continues in Limbe. And it's inevitably now the players less reluctant to take the kicks who are being handed the responsibility. Another sub on Santiago Eneme. He's just 20. What a big job for him. It's almost cruel to hand such responsibility to a player of such tender years. Eneme against Mukuru, he does it. In the top corner. They must go through all 11 players and then continue the same sequence as they had for the first 11 kicks. Which would mean that if we are at that stage, probably Emilio Nsue would have to take another one, but we're still some way away from that. We're now at the situation where it's 6-5 to Equatorial Guinea. Mali must score again, and Sako, the centre-back. 6-5, 6 out of 8, 5 out of 7 for Mali. Coach Micha so close to the quarterfinals. Sako to save the situation for Mali. Sako saved! Owono takes Equatorial Guinea into the next round. The Giant Killers continue. No, what's the referee say here? Did he move off the line? Is this going to be a retake? We're waiting for the VAR. It'll be a yellow for Owono if he moved off the line. There's the save. I think he might have had a foot on the line. The referee says yes. No retake. Equatorial Guinea advance. They win 6-5 on penalties. Mohamed Magasuba and Mali are out. What an upset. The giant killers, Equatorial Guinea, continue. They will go now to Yaoundé to meet Sadio Mane and Senegal. Sako with a penalty saved. The 20-year-old Jesus Owono is the hero here tonight. No goals after 2 hours. Plenty of successful penalties though. 6-5 is the final count. Iban Salvador and his teammates survive to continue another day. Juan Misha will take his side now to the quarterfinals. Against all odds, tiny Equatorial Guinea continue to fly their flag on the African stage. What a wonderful fairy tale this is. Well, consolation, commiserations. Oh, look at the staff there. In fact, that's Miranda, who came off in the second half. Cannot control the tears as Equatorial Guinea on here. Absolutely marvelous, marvelous performance. Mohamed Magasuba, well, he is absolutely crestfallen. His team should have won this one. On paper, they were the runaway favourites. They had the better of the chances. But at the end of the day, they did not find the back of the net. Equatorial Guinea took it all the way to a penalty shootout. And they are going to the quarterfinals. Commiserations for Magasuba. Mali's dream is over yet again. They've yet to win this championship. Finalists in Cameroon 50 years ago. It's not going to happen again. Confirmation then of the final score as the tears of joy continue to run. Here is the decisive save from Jesus Owono. There was still a foot dragged on the line as it was hit by Sako. That was the decision from the VAR. Equatorial Guinea into the next round.
Welcome to Gospel Truth with Andrew Womack, a teaching ministry that focuses on God's unconditional love and grace, sharing the good news through broadcast television and Charis Bible colleges worldwide. And now, here's Andrew.
So how do you do that? Well, there's a million things I'd love to share, but I want to specifically share some scriptures with you out of Proverbs chapter 3. And in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 1, it says, "My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments, for length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee." Man, I could preach on this for an hour, but you know, many Christians believe that health and longevity in life is dependent upon diet and exercise and taking vitamins and using the medical profession and those kind of things. I'm saying those things have a place, but instead of that being the real key to long life and health, I believe it's a very small portion. This is just Andyology, but I believe that your diet and exercise and vitamins and stuff like that might be 20% or a maximum of 30% of your health. Much more important than those things. It says in Psalms chapter, well, I'd have to look it up. I think it's Psalm 17. I'd have to look these verses up. But it says, "A merry heart does good like a medicine." One of the 10 commandments in Exodus chapter 20 is honor your father and mother that your days may be long upon the land. In Psalms chapter 34, verse 12, if you love life, if you want long life, then refrain your lips from speaking evil and your actions from doing wrong and serve God. The Scripture teaches that spiritual things are much more important than just physical, natural things to your health. So again, Proverbs chapter 3, verses 1 and 2 says that you'll get length of days, long life, and peace if you are seeking the Lord. And then in verse 3 it says, "Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thine heart. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all of thine heart." And you know, we could apply that in many, many different ways. In talking about following the leadership of the Lord, relationships with people, finances. But let me apply it to health. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart for your health. Not just diet and exercise and food and things like this, but trust God for your health and lean not unto your own understanding. In all of your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. It shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones. Your navel is at the center of your being. Of course, that's where you got all of your nutrients from when you were in your mother's womb. It's talking about that it'll be health to the very core of your being and marrow to your bones. The marrow of your bones is where the blood is produced. And Jesus said that, well, the Bible says that the life of the flesh is in the blood. So in other words, this is saying, in verse 2, it says, length of days and long life will be added unto you. In verse 9, it says, or verse 8, it says that you fear the Lord, you depart from evil. It shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones. And so here's verse 2 and verse 8 and everything in between. It may have other applications, but it applies specifically to your health. And it's saying that these things will produce health. And let me focus again on that verse 3. It says, "Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thine heart." How do you write something upon your heart? That's a great question. And here's the answer. In Psalms chapter 45 and verse 1, it says, "My heart is inditing a good matter. I speak of the things which I have made touching the king. My tongue is the pen of a ready writer." So put that together with Proverbs 3, where write them upon your heart. How do you write it upon your heart? Your tongue is the pen of a ready writer. Do you know how you get something established in your heart to where it's not just mental understanding up here, but your heart is established in this truth? It's through words. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 21 says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof." You've got power right here in your mouth, but you have to start speaking. And on the other hand, it says, death and life are in the power of the tongue. Not only life, but death. And many of us are saying things like, well, you know, I get the flu every year when it comes around. Or my family, they had heart problems. It runs in my family, and so I guess I'll have heart problems. What you're doing is releasing death out of your life. You're cursing yourself. You're hung by your own tongue. And you need to change that. And what I'd like to have you do is to start speaking what the Word of God has to say, and specifically not about just getting healed once you're already sick, but start speaking what the Word of God says about that no plague will come nigh your dwelling, that He will turn off sickness on the inside of you so that you aren't even receptive to sickness, that only with your eyes. This is in Psalms chapter 91, and I just picked a few verses out of that psalm. But if you go back, some of the scriptures there says, only with your eyes will you see the reward of the wicked. In other words, you won't participate in it yourself. You will just see other people that suffer under sickness and under plagues, but it's not going to come nigh your dwelling. But you've got to start saying that. And there's a lot of Christians that wouldn't say this at all. Matter of fact, one of the things that I say is based on Psalms chapter 91, and in verse 9 it says, "There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling." So one of the things that I constantly say is that no germ can touch my body and live. And you know what? I have a lot of people ridicule me over that. Matter of fact, we've got a man on my staff who ministers to pastors, and he went to one of the local pastors here where I live, and he introduced himself as being the pastoral relations director for our ministry. And the first thing that this pastor said, "Oh, that's the guy that believes that no plague will come nigh his dwelling, that he can't get sick." And he immediately just came out against me and said, "I want nothing to do with that guy." And yet, this is a scripture. No plague will come nigh thy dwelling. I'm not condemning anybody who does have some type of a sickness and he isn't living at this, but I'm saying, why in the world would you condemn somebody for trying to believe what God promised? I would like to encourage you to start believing for more than just divine healing when you get sick. Start believing for divine health, that no plague will come nigh my dwelling. And how do you get there? Again, if you go back to Psalms chapter 91, I left some of these verses out, but in Psalms 91 verse 1 it says, "He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." So this is talking about not just visiting the Lord occasionally. You have to dwell in the secret place, and you have to abide under the shadow of the Almighty. That's talking about a fixed position. So it's not saying that for those who only go to church once a week or every once in a while, and they only think about God occasionally, that this isn't going to work for you. But for those who dwell in the presence of the Lord, that's where you live. And then verse 2, Psalms 91:2 is really important. It says, "I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him will I trust." Notice it says, "I will say of the Lord." You have to say it. And again, there's a lot of people that you may hear me use these scriptures, and you may even say, "Well, I believe that." But do you believe it enough that you would stand up and say, "No plague is going to touch my body. No sickness is going to come into me"? And you know what? There's a lot of Christians that won't say that. Why? Because they honestly don't believe it. And they're afraid that if they say it, and then something happens and they get sick, it's going to look like you were wrong and that you weren't operating in faith. And so many people just never believe for these things because it's easier not to believe for them. It's safer to say that, you aren't going to do these things. But again, I tell you that I believe as the end times continue on, things aren't going to get better. Things are spiraling out of control. There's things happening right now in this world that I wouldn't have thought would have ever happened in my lifetime. They were prophesied in the Bible, but I thought this will never happen in my lifetime. But we see the world just spiraling out of control, and not only in government and in ungodliness that's being promoted in things, but I believe that there is coming a time that sickness, plagues, things like this are going to be increased much worse than they are now. And we've got to step up. And we've got to start preparing by not just waiting until some plague afflicts us and then get healed, but we need to learn how to keep the devil at bay. You know, there's a scripture in Jeremiah chapter 12, verse 5, and it says, "If thou hast run with the footmen, and they have wearied thee, how canst thou contend with horses?" You know what that's saying is that if just running with a footman, a person who's on foot running a race, and if you can't keep up with him, you're never going to keep up when you have a mounted rider, racing against you. And so if you can't stand against the COVID virus, which 99.7% of people recover from that, and if you can't deal with that, how are you ever going to deal with some of these plagues that are written in the Bible and things that are coming? We need to learn how to not only just, struggle through life, and when something happens, just